All right, today we're going to talk about Carl Jung and specifically why his shadow work method proves that the consciousness shift humanity's been waiting for is already activating. We know it's happening. All the signs have shown us physically and spiritually that we are in the midst of it, and why 2027 is a critical year. I'm going to show you exactly what Jung wrote about this and how it connects to what Edgar Casey predicted, what quantum consciousness is now confirming, and why ego death isn't something to fear. It's the gateway. That's coming up here shortly. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. I am here to help you break through the fear. Fear's a story. Fear's a limitation. It's built into the human consciousness, existence, but there's a shadow part that are the teachings that we break through. And according to Edgar Casey, go into super consciousness. That is happening now. But I wanted to explore Carl Jung. I don't know much about him, but I'm going to share that today because we're going to bridge Jung into this whole Edgar Casey Dolores canon that we've been exploring, the Hopi tablets. We talked about Chris Bledsoe. What did Carl Jung have to say? Because there's a lot of wisdom there. Now, most people know Carl Jung for his psychology. That's what I thought. The collective consciousness, synchronicity, individuation. But here's what almost nobody is talking about. Jung wasn't just mapping the human mind. He was mapping the evolution of consciousness itself. He was way beyond his time. And he said something that should stop you in your tracks. He said the human psyche is going through a transformation so profound that it will change what it means to be human. And we're seeing that. We aren't this physical thing walking around. And that's not a metaphor. Jung meant it literally. And when you overlay his timeline with what Edgar Casey predicted about the new earth, with what's happening in quantum consciousness research right now, with the 39 hertz frequency data, they all converge on the same window, 2026, going heavy into 2027. Are you feeling it? Yeah, it's not real pleasant, is it? But look forward to what's happening right now. Going through the shadow work is what's going to take you into something magnificent. So let me show you why. Shadow work and spiritual awakening. Here's what I want to focus on today. Jung's shadow work. We've talked about what is that? It's why we came here. It's all the teachings. It's that nasty, uncomfortable crap that allows us to make free will decisions to something higher. Most people in the spirituality space talk about shadow work like it's a journaling prompt. Okay, I'm going to just say affirmations and write down your triggers, sit with your feelings. And that's not what Jung meant. Not even close. Jung said the shadow is the doorway to the collective consciousness. It's the doorway. Makes no sense because it doesn't feel good. And the collective consciousness is where the shift is happening right now, not in some distant future. It's activating through you. You have to participate. So when you do shadow work, the way Jung actually taught it, not the Instagram version, you're not just healing personal trauma. You're literally interfacing with the field of collective consciousness. This is what I love about his teachings. And that field, according to Jung, is undergoing what he called a metamorphosis of the gods. The gods. Isn't that cool? So let's be honest. How many of you felt something shifting inside you that you can't explain, especially now? Maybe you're seeing something inside yourself that you don't like. Maybe you're just sick of how you've been living. Maybe everything that was important to you all of a sudden has no real meaning. I know that's what's happening with me. And I'm transforming into what? I don't really know. Sometimes you just don't need to know. We have to go within. You can't explain it. It's something that goes beyond personal growth, right? So drop a comment if you felt this, because Jung said this feeling, it's not random. It's the collective unconscious calling you through your shadow. I've had students tell me they're going through this. Are you? Tell me what those feelings are. They could be both physical and spiritual. Let me know what you're feeling. Ego death and dark night of the soul. Ooh, ow. Nobody likes to hear that. But here's the good part about it. There's been debate about what ego death actually is. Have you experienced it? I have. It's beautiful. Some people say it's a spiritual emergency. Some say it's a psychological breakdown, and Jung says it's both, and that's the point. So he called it the necessary confrontation when the ego can no longer maintain the illusion of separation. It collapses. It's not working anymore, right? You give up the ego when you say, you are not working in my favor. I'm doing everything. I'm fighting for this and trying to get that. And then it collapses, that ego death. It's what opens the door to individuation, which is Jung's word for becoming who you truly are. The superconsciousness, as Casey would call it. But here's what nobody's telling you. The dark night of the soul, it's not a punishment. It's not a bad place to go. Now, we don't all have to go there, but I'll bet most of you have been there at some point. It's an initiation. It's the psyche dissolving everything that isn't real so that what is real can come through, and the chatter shuts down. It just shuts down because it is causing so much pain that you just give up. I surrender. Two powerful words. Casey said the same thing in his own language. That's in my last video. Go check it out. He gives you the steps to relieving this energy field and the shadow work. He called it the crucifixion of the ego before the resurrection of consciousness. Different words, same process. They were describing the same shift. It's happening now. All the signs are telling us this event is now, because we cannot name dates, right? It is up to us as to when certain things will take place. And right now, a huge shift is happening. Thank you for that. Now you have to remember, ego death, it's not the end. It's the end of what we don't want to experience, the struggle. It's the beginning. And if you're going through it right now, I want you to remember that you're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. Wonderful things are going to open up for you now. And just say, I cannot think about this and what's wrong. I have to think about, what do I have? I have that. These things you shall do and more, and those who have shall receive more. It's just a state of mind. When you think you have, the universe says, yes, you have, and you get more, and you're going into that super consciousness that creates it. So let's talk about Jung synchronicity and quantum consciousness. Now, Jung's concept of synchronicity is where this gets really interesting and where science is finally catching up, right? Jung defines synchronicity as meaningful coincidences that can't be explained by cause and effect, but are connected through meaning. He worked with the physicist Wolfgang Pauli on this. This wasn't speculation. They were mapping what quantum consciousness researchers are now proving in labs. This is provable. Some of you said, oh, we can't prove it in science. Yes, we are. When you see repeating numbers, when you think of someone and they call, when the universe seems to be speaking directly to you, Jung said that's not coincidence. That's the collective consciousness interfacing with your individuation process. What does that mean? That's how you manifest, my friend. That's how you bring something into your reality, is through those thoughts. All right, you ready for this? Here's the key. Synchronicities increase as the shift accelerates. Are you seeing more of them? More 1111s? Oh, I see those all the time. What time is it right now? Okay. More meaningful coincidences, more moments where reality feels like it's winking at you. That's not your imagination. That's the field responding to your frequency. So that's like, we hear you, we are aligned. If you're watching the garbage out there and you're feeling really bad, that's that message. You're putting it into the superconsciousness and it is creating it. And computers have shown when we focus, we can actually change the numbers on the computer. These are real experiments showing that your consciousness is creating 24/7. I hope you'll help my algorithm. It helps me more than you know to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share these videos and give it to people who really need it right now. I think you know who you are. So let's talk about Christ consciousness and Neville Goddard. Where did he come in? Here's where Jung meets the mystics. This is the part that I think is the most exciting. So Jung wrote an entire book called Aeon about Christ as a symbol of the self, not the historical Jesus, the archetype of Christ consciousness. That is in my Edgar Casey video just before this one. Go check it out. They are a synchronicity of messages, the pattern of death and rebirth that operates at the level of the collective unconsciousness. This is the Christ consciousness. It takes us into the super consciousness. You have to go through this. It's your time. Face it. It's good. It's taking you to wonderful things. Now, Neville Goddard taught the same thing from a different angle. He said, imagination creates reality. If you can sit and dream it, Disney said this, if you can imagine in your mind, somewhere it can be created. And that consciousness is only reality. That the promise of scripture isn't about a person, it's about a state of consciousness that you can enter. Jung would have agreed because individuation is the process of moving from ego consciousness to Christ consciousness. We want to go there. That's where the worry ends. Then you stop waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to worry about stuff that's never going to happen. From separation to wholeness, this is the key. From the fragment to the full, that's when you become powerful. No man or woman stands alone. It takes a village, right? They were all describing the same path. Casey called it the Christ pattern. Jung called it individuation. Neville called it living in the end because they're all one thing. Let's talk about the 2027 convergence and the new earth. Dolores Cannon spoke of this. All different versions of the exact same thing. So let's bring it together. Why 2027? Well, Jung said the transformation of consciousness would accelerate when certain conditions were met. When enough individuals began the individuation process simultaneously, he called this a psychological tipping point. That's in my book. I got a download. We're in the tipping point. You're seeing events happening out there, especially here in the United States. It's the indication that we're in the tipping point and we're going into that shadow work that's going to take us into the golden era on the other end. So buckle up. Casey gave us a timeline. He said that earth changes and consciousness shift would become undeniable, and we've seen it. So now we know, yes, it's happening now. It's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of a new one. He spoke of solar flares, of earth changes, and we've been watching this, and you and I are actually in control of that. Yes, it's time to get a control of that consciously. Now, quantum consciousness research is showing that coherence in all collective consciousness, it's measurable. The 39 hertz frequency, and by the way, I've got a company I'm working with to give you access to this, the Global Consciousness Project data. The Federico Fagin research, you heard me talk about him. He created the microprocessor, went into a spiritual awakening and went, wow, consciousness isn't emergent from matter. All right. It's fundamental. And when enough of us reach coherence, the field shifts. That's that tipping point. So 2027, it's not a doom date. Nothing's in stone. It's a window. The window when the cumulative effect of millions of individuals doing shadow work, moving through ego death, entering Christ consciousness, reaches critical mass. And by the way, it doesn't take a big percentage to do that. It's the tipping point, and we stop looking at that we don't like, and we start creating that which we choose. Starts with you, my friend. Do you feel it? Because I feel it. I know you do too. So I want to give you something you can actually use. Jung's shadow method for accelerating this process. Step 1, identify what triggers you most. Not what annoys you, what electrifies you. That's your shadow knocking. Is it money, relationships, self-worth, you name it, health, name it. What's triggering you? What's creating this dis-ease? Step 2, stop projecting. Right? When you project, you're creating. When you judge someone else intensely, Jung said you're meeting your own shadow. Own it. Are you judging people? That's your shadow. Step 3, dialogue with the shadow. Not in your head. Write it down. Let it speak. It has information you need. Talk to it. What is this thing that keeps showing up with me? And why is it there? Where did I get that idea from? Why do I keep torturing myself? Step 4, integrate. Don't eliminate. I always say break through fear. You're not going to eliminate fear. The shadow isn't wrong. It's unprocessed power. When you integrate it, you become more, not less. It is nothing to fear. I don't want to go into that space because it makes me feel bad. It will dissolve. Step 5, live from the self, not the ego. The ego is always in desperation. It's always in survival mode. This is not individuation. It is the shift. When your decisions come from the wholeness instead of fear, you've entered the new earth frequency. Are you feeling fear? Look it head on. Write it down. What is it I'm really afraid of? What can I do? Right? Instead of the ego trying to solve it, what can I do from a spiritual standpoint to go into a space where we end that fear? that's creating something you don't want. These 5 steps are how you activate quantum consciousness in your own life. And this is the method science is now confirming. Let's talk about empowerment and collective call. Now, I want you to remember something. You didn't find this video by accident. We talk about synchronicities. If you're still watching, you're already in the process. You're already part of the shift. You know it. Maybe you're not feeling 100% here. That's why you're here. You're like, tell me how to fix this. And I'm going to tell you right now, relax, go into it, and go with your intuition. If there's something new you want to try, new friends, new jobs, go after stuff. Get an education in something you never imagined. Go in and shift and become a different person. Not the one that's not pleasing you right now. That's the ego hanging on to something that's not serving you well. It only takes a relatively small number of people to change the collective. Not everyone has to wake up just enough, and you're in that number. So I'm going to ask you right now, never lose your sight of that beautiful reality. You and I will create it together. Don't lose your hope or your faith. Don't lose it. What feels good over? I don't want to feel like that. So don't lose your faith. There's always something. There's always an answer. There's always a reality. There's always a reality that yes, you can say yes to that seems impossible. What are you doing to contribute to this new world? Because it's not coming. It's already here. You get to create yours. Work on that. What do you want to create? Be happy and joyful with others. When somebody's angry, they're feeling fear and anger, lack of love inside. So send them light. It's not personal. They're striking out. This must end. And when we do our shadow work, then we will stop commingling with these negative energies and sending our light so that we can transform it. Again, I hope you subscribe. And you can access my book. I talk about the tipping point. I talk about the power that you are. And those of you who want to make the changes, stop making choices in a world that's toxic, go into my description. I have all kinds of ways for you to support businesses and ways of lifestyle that don't harm your body, animals, or our planet. We must become that which we desire to live in. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think about Carl Jung. All coming together, same message. You hold the power. Namaste.